Now, satisfied conditions of approval for the benefit of the record. First, that was condition of approval for AC 23343 that the applicant submit plans showing any proposed trash enclosures. They have done this with trash enclosures for buildings 74, 72, and 73 as shown. Additionally, the applicant's submittals include plans for the proposed trash enclosures, and this condition is met. Next, there was a condition of approval required to submit a revised site plan showing a type A buffer yard. The components of a type A buffer yard, the 6-foot masonry wall and the 10-foot landscaping buffer, are shown on the revised site plan. This condition is met as well. Next, the applicant was required to submit an application for a land division. This application has been submitted. It's LDS 26094, and the condition is met. Lastly, they were required to submit a revised site plan. Refining what they had submitted. So they needed to clearly identify the proposed 8 phases. Those 8 phases have been changed to 12, and these are clearly identified on the modified site plan. Remove parcels 1, 2, and 3 to correctly identify the 2 existing parcels. This has been done. Replace lot designation with unit or building. This has been done. Add dimensions to clearly identify setbacks and distances. This has been done. Clearly identify the proposed new right-of-way for the new north-south street, and this has also been done. Commission can find that this condition of approval has been met. The remaining conditions of approval have been retained in Exhibit A of the staff report. And I'll point out that item 7 on trash enclosures was also retained, as those will need to be shown on the building permit plans as well. Throughout this process, or in this process, talking with the applicant, they requested relief from the condition that they rotate the north area 90 degrees to the right to more standardize their plan. But they found there would be difficulty to do this posed by the site's dimensions, and staff recommends granting relief from this condition as there's no codified requirement that plans be oriented in a particular direction, only a requirement that north arrows be included. In anticipation of the Commission's agreement, that condition has been removed from Exhibit A. Findings and conclusions. Returning to the criteria, based on the evidence in the record, the Commission can find that the proposed development complies with the applicable provisions of all city ordinances or will be in compliance with the satisfaction of the conditions of approval listed in Exhibit A, as no exceptions or adjustments were needed. And the Commission can find these criteria are satisfied. Recommendation, staff recommends to adopt the findings as recommended by staff and direct staff to prepare the final order for approval of AC 26041 per the staff report dated April 10th, 2026, including exhibits A through M. Thank you. Suggested motion is on the screen. Are there any
Thank
questions?
you, Mr. Benson. Any questions for staff at this time? Commissioner Paul?
Thank you. So the stormwater is being relocated,
Yes.
and it's being consolidated.
Yes.
Is the size being doubled?
I don't have the information on the size. Do you?
So we don't know if it's still adequate for the, guarantee, what we originally approved it for, or?
I believe the facility adequacy review that Public Works does would look at size and overall ability of this.
Okay, before you leave, or do you,
Yes.
I have one more question.
All righty.
Because I don't know if anybody else has them, but whose lot is it being relocated to? Because it's on a different parcel. So
Yeah,
it's obviously their deeded lot, correct?
It is under the same ownership,
Okay.
Commissioner.
And do we know if that's going to be built out in the future?
Right now, the plans would be to continue those street improvements. There would be, I believe, easements required for the maintenance of that facility, but that's all the information that I have.
I would imagine that they would require setbacks in the future as well, right?
The facility is set back, yes.
Well, if they built out later on, it'd probably require, what did you say, 10 feet? Is that what the minimum distance was?
I'd have to double check, but that sounds correct.
Okay. Can you answer my question now, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Chairman. This is Doug Burrows with the Public Works Department. Yes, Ms. Powell. So, at this level of the planning for their project, they are required to show kind of conceptually where they're putting the stormwater facility. We do not check the size at this point. There's a lot of different ways they can do it, but we make sure they show it and are planning on it. So that pond could be reconfigured. Nice thing, there's a lot of room right there, so they could reconfigure it. And we'll check the sizing when the building permits come in and make sure it's sized adequately to serve the site.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. One thing I want to bring up, and I apologize for this, there's a kind of a leftover comment under our report, under access and circulation. It's a discretionary comment. And it talks about the building out of the North-South Street. That's to be renamed. At one point, when this was originally approved, we considered that a minor residential street. Once this came back in hindsight, we kind of rethought that, and that is not the appropriate street classification given the adjacent zoning and potential development that could happen. So now it's considered a standard residential street, which is exactly the same as a commercial street. So, but this comment was not cleaned up. So we have a comment in there that I'd like to remove that says it's going to be built to a 33-foot half width or full width eventually, and it will not. It will be built to the standard 36-foot curb to curb width. So I would like to do a commission update after you guys make your decision today, and I will clean that language up. It's at the bottom of our report of page 5, Kelly, if you're looking for it.
And that means it now has a fire truck turnaround, correct?
Um,
Because it's a commercial road?
The turnarounds doesn't matter what the classification is, they'd still be required. I'm not sure what fire needed for turnarounds.
Or, well, it's probably through a street, I think, because it's north-south, correct?
They show I don't know if you want to bring up the map. They show a turnaround up by the pond. I don't know if that's, I mean, we're going to use it for maintenance of the pond. I'm sure fire could use it as well. And I'd probably defer to them. I don't know if you're familiar with what fire asked for, but.
I think fire's 36, but I don't remember. 32, maybe? And
There are,
that-
I mean, there are
varies on the size
drive
of
aisle
the-
accesses through the site, so they only require a turnaround if it's, a dead-end street is so far, whatever, over 150
Yeah.
feet. So they might not require one. They can probably just use the drive aisles for turning around.
Yeah, especially if it was a ladder truck.
So
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Mr. Burrows?
All right, thank you.
I think we're good.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I did have one additional question of staff, and one comment. First of all, that I agree with staff's removal and honoring the request of the applicant regarding the revised or reoriented site plan. That said, I wanted to make a comment that it does get a little bit confusing as you're going through the materials and you've got these sideways maps and you got to figure out which way is north, and you kind of have to reorient. So I agree with staff that it is a much clearer application with that reorientation, but at the same time, it's not required, and therefore, at least at this point, I agree with staff that we ought to grant that request regarding removing that condition. I did have one question, and that's how the new approval impacts the timeline for development. Does the timeline restart as a result of this approval, or does it go back to the initial approval date?
It keeps that 5-year approval from the initial approval date, Commissioner.
Okay. So this, because it's just an amendment, the timelines basically remain the same.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff at this time? All right. Thank you, Mr. Benson.
Thank you.
With that, we will go ahead and open the public hearing with the applicant's agent to speak first, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mark McKechnie with Oregon Architecture, agent for the project. I would really like to give you a whole bunch more detail on the project, but Kagan did such a wonderful job. There's really nothing more to add. So we can talk a little bit about some of the questions Ms. Powell came up with. The short answers are, yes, the pond will be sized large enough to handle the entire development. It may also, since the property is all owned by the same person, and there are no development plans yet for the north parcel. They may, when something happens with that, it would be easy enough to expand that pond to handle that parcel as well. I think actually the Public Works Department really preferred that solution to the one that we started out with. Fire has also looked at the parcel, and they said that the driveway on the north end of the site would be adequate for the turnaround for the fire trucks. So they've looked at it as well.
Thank you.
Pretty simple change. And really the moving of the pond is kind of what predicated all the other little changes. We needed to add an easement along that new north-south street, which meant we had to move some units, which meant we had to shift things around, and here we are. So kind of the nature of the beast. So that's all I have to say. If there's any questions, happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you, Mr. McKechnie. Any questions for the applicant's agent? Commissioner Whitlock?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. McKechnie, you heard a Public Works comment about the change to the standard residential street on that north-south future street. No concerns about that from your client's perspective?
From the client's perspective, no. I think the practical, we're all supposing that the potential for development on the adjacent site is what would kick it up. The one that we have isn't, but the net result is it doesn't really impact the part of the road that we're building, so it's okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
And-
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, and I think also appreciate that staff is willing to allow us to leave the drawings the way they are, because turning it the other way I understand it's always nice to have north-south, but when you got to split a site like that, it gets even more confusing when you're trying to build something. So.
Always defer to make anything easier to read kind of
Yes.
internally as opposed to the orientation. So, sorry, professional opinion. Without any further questions for the applicant's agent?
No, but thank you for addressing my concerns or statements,
Sure.
whatever they were. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. McKechnie, thank you
And
for your time.
probably don't need it, but if need to, I'll reserve time for rebuttal.
You beat me to it. All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to come forward and speak to this item? Anyone?
I don't know how to do this exactly.
Okay. You can sign in after but please.
Okay, I live on Dearborn. I actually used to be neighbors with Rick.
Okay.
I bought the lot closest to I call it a pond, but it's wetland. And so it's the little circular area, and I love my neighborhood, and I love where I am. There's so much wildlife right there. And I was just curious, obviously looking at the pictures, it looks like the wetland, and I talked with the architect a little bit in the elevator. It looks like everything in the wetland is gonna stay the same, no building over that. Is there going to be any sort of fencing or anything? I mean, when we built our home, we designed and built our home in that neighborhood. Of course, then all of a sudden apartments, great, it's not the best. But is it going to, like anything to make our neighborhood not look like an apartment complex area, if that makes sense? I'm not trying to sound snotty, I'm just curious.
I mean, obviously, we'll have to defer to the applicant's agent to
Okay.
answer any of your questions.
Okay.
Are you talking, so it's a 10-foot wall, right?
Is there going to be a wall?
There's a 10-foot wall?
Yes, please.
I want to say.
I'm not sure if it's the area you're talking about specifically, but
I
there is
saw it.
a. Yeah,
I'll show
absolutely.
you exactly where. I think my home is not even on there yet because was.
Oh, it's in process?
Okay, you see where the very top right-hand corner with the pond?
This area?
That's my house, right where you just had the thing, that's my house. I'm the closest one to the pond, right there in
Okay.
the little cul-de-sac looking.
Oh, and-
So do we know if there's a fence right there?
well, there is the buffer yard, which has the masonry wall and 10-foot landscape buffer, is down here between these zones.
Yeah.
Up here, there is no fence planned.
What about like along, see how the water goes all the way through
Mm-hmm.
before the apartments are gonna start? Is there gonna be anything there, or is it like gonna be like all the kids and stuff that are, they're just be running over there? If that,
Nothing on the site plan, so I'll have to defer to the applicant on that.
Yes.
And then-
is there any way
I'll
to
let you
ask
back to
for
that.
one? Well, that's my only question. Is there any way to ask for one, or is that allowed? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please.
Is there any way as a neighbor to ask for one, or is that not allowed? Like, if, I know me and all my neighbors, we would prefer there to be something, if possible. I understand. I've never been to one of these, by the way. I have no idea what I'm doing, but
Sorry, any questions will have to be to the applicant's agent.
to the applicant, okay,
There's nothing, that is not part of the purview of
okay,
the commission at this point.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, before you leave, can you introduce yourself, please, and give us your address?
Jenny Hamilton, 3211 Dearborn Lane. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
ma'am, and please sign in as I requested.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
If I could add just one comment, and that is that it's my understanding that nothing has changed from the original application except those components that we talked about here today. So there's all sorts of things that were approved initially that are just not part of the conversation today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your clarification, Mr. Whitlock. Appreciate that. Anybody else in the audience that would like to come forward and speak on the item? Mr. McKechnie, would you like to add anything to the conversation regarding the questions? No?
Okay, thank you. Yes, just to be clear, there is a 6-foot-high masonry wall that's required, and that's on, as you're looking at the plan, there's a dark spot that's a wetland south of that to the corner, southeast corner of the property. The units that are north of Ford Drive will all have fences around their own backyard, but the wetlands will remain open.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. McKechnie. With the conclusion of Mr. McKechnie's comments, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and would love to entertain a motion on this item. Commissioner Whitlock.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the commission adopt the findings as recommended by staff, direct staff to prepare the final order for approval of AC-26-41 per the staff report dated April 10, 2026, including exhibits A through M.
Thank you. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the item? All right. With that, could we have roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Mr. Camiller,
Yes.
Mr. Bender,
Yes.
Mr. Wing,
Yes.
Ms. Powell,
Yes.
and Mr. Whitlock.
Yes.
We have 5 yeses.
All right. The motion passes. Let's see. That concludes item number 50, public hearings. Moving on to item 60 is written communications. We have none. Item number 70, new business. Under new business 70.1 is Code of Professional Conduct and Respectful Workplace Standards, Administrative Regulations. I believe we have someone to tell us what's going on today.
Hello, Chair Bender and Commission. My name is Bonnie Barish. I am the Director of Human Resources for the City of Medford, and I have been asked by Mayor and Council to talk with all commissions and boards this year to talk about a policy that does relate to volunteers and board members and commission members about respectful workplace conduct. So first I want to say thank you for your service, because I know it's a volunteer gig, and we do appreciate that. Today the conversation is really about that professional respectful conduct, because why it matters is that you are in a position of public trust. And you know, if we have better discussions at meetings, it just helps staff and the public feel like they can come talk. So nothing happened. There hasn't been a specific thing. I think many of you may have gotten a letter from the mayor, and I was just asked as part of that to go around and talk about the policy itself, which I think you all had in your packet, perhaps. And then also I did a one-page summary of what that is, in case this was a little long for you to have to really, you know, get into the detail of it. Basically, it's talking about treating city staff, fellow board members and commission members, elected officials, and the public in general with dignity, courtesy, being respectful in our tone and our language, and just keeping the discussions based on the policy or the process or whatever this business is that is being discussed. But again, nothing specific has happened necessarily, but we did have a few things that were maybe a little too edgy, let's just say that. And so we want to make sure that everyone knows that we aren't, you know, using language that's demeaning or disrespectful or belittling to anyone that's within the organization and those that come before you. Public criticism of staff, we would not want that to happen, because it should be, any of the discussion should be based on policy or that, not about something personal. And not to try to be intimidating in any way. You know, disagreement's not the issue. We can have disagreement as long as it's a respectful disagreement, and that's really what the purpose of the policy is. So also, just as, you know, I'm coming before you, if you ever feel that you have an issue with staff, we would want you to feel like you had a mechanism to talk to us about that staff member. I know you're amazing, Kelly, so we're not talking about you either. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm teasing. But if you do have a mechanism. You can either go to your staff liaison, unless they're the one that you have a concern about, or you can go to the city manager, the mayor, and you can always come to human resources. So that's really my purpose of being here today. It's taken me, just because of the amount of groups, we have 25 boards and commissions, a bit to get to everyone, and not everybody's meeting is at a time that we can all make. So I just want to appreciate your time, and thank you for letting me come before you today.
Thank you. Any questions from staff? Or, sorry, for staff from the commission? Anyone? Thank you. I'm going to untie my tongue here. Item number 80, report from the planning department.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, commissioners. I am Kelly Aiken with your planning department. First things first, I wanted to welcome Commissioner Wing to the board.
Indeed.
We're happy to have you on board with us. We handed you kind of a softball today. Wait till next meeting. I'll talk about that in a minute. I also wanted to acknowledge Amanda. It's her happy birthday today. So happy birthday to
Happy
our...
birthday.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're not going to talk about the next question. I wanted to remind everybody about the statement of economic interest filings. Those were due on Wednesday. Hope everybody was able to fill those out and respond.
No fines this year.
I didn't know we even had to do it. I never got an original
The 15th?
email, but I did get an email saying it wasn't in compliance, so I will do that. But
Okay.
I didn't get any like forewarnings
Yeah.
like we usually do.
Yeah, it came out like 2 months ago. It was really far ahead. Yeah, so and they will fine you. So please remember to do that.
You got to write them a check, the whole thing, yeah.
Let's see, there's that. Upcoming business, we do have business for your next meeting. That's May the 1st. We have a rather controversial project coming up for you. There's 2 items on schedule. One of them, we're going to have some folks come. So just so you know, we'll have some Wheaties available at lunch for you. So eat your Wheaties. That'll be an interesting meeting. I don't have anything on schedule for May 15th at this point, but you never know, especially when we have something controversial in front of you. June 5th, I do have business scheduled for you, and then June 19th is Juneteenth. It's a holiday, so we will not have any business on June 19th. So we're going to do kind of a hopscotch thing as it looks right now.
So you said yes the 1st and
No, the 15th, and then yes,
the 29th.
June 5.
Oh, wait, so not the, okay, that's right. It's the
Yeah, because
first
that's a
and third,
fifth
right?
Friday,
okay.
yeah. So coming up, or at council this week, they did a couple kind of really neat things. One is they adopted the Transportation Safety Action Plan, which is, it's moving towards Vision Zero, which is fewer traffic accidents, which is kind of a great thing. So it acknowledges alternative mobility methods. So kind of a neat thing. So that was adopted. They also, in relation to that, authorized an application for $10 million to FHWA, the Federal Highway Administration, for Table Rock Road. And I'm not sure exactly the boundaries. I think it's midway to the crossing over the 5. Is that right, Doug? Do you know? Okay. I think that's what it is. Yeah. At any rate.
I think it's Merriman to I-5.
Thank you. What did I say, midway? No. Yeah, I think you're right, Commissioner.
You mean I-5 like by the Pine Street?
Crossing over I-5.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Oh,
bridge
I
over
gotcha.
I-5.
I always forget it wraps around like that.
They also awarded a contract for Manzanita improvements. So that's Manzanita between Central and Riverside. So that'll be a neat project to get that resolved. And actually, I think that's a MURA-funded project. So that's happening. Up next meeting at City Council, they're going to consider code amendments regarding childcare. The state updated their rules around childcare facilities recently, so we're going to bring our code into alignment with that. And then also on schedule for them is to adopt the economic opportunity analysis. That's actually ends up being one of the elements of our comprehensive plan. And so it kind of helps us understand how much land we need for different uses, different commercial industrial uses. So that's coming up. City Council study session on the 22nd. They're going to consider the Stevens Street Transportation Facility. Our Planning Commission considered that it was up to City Council, and they're just trying to resolve some issues, design issues with the neighborhood there. So that's Stevens Street from Crater Lake Avenue east. And what else? Oh, I wanted to share something with you. I think it's pretty interesting. So this is from our Historic Commission. A couple weeks ago, they approved the, it's called Jay's Foodplex. So this is the former New Far East building at 4th and Front Street. So you can see what it currently looks like and then what it's going to look like. It's a pretty neat project. So the perspectives are the same on both photos in the white field. So what they're doing is it's kind of a neat concept where they'll have more than one food type, different ethnic food types that will share a kitchen, and then they'll share like seating space and stuff. It's pretty neat. And then if y'all are familiar with this location, on the south side of that building, there's a small parking lot. And on that small parking lot, they're going to do an open air. It's kind of a 2-story eating area. It's pretty neat. So that's what's up. I just wanted to share that with you. It's a huge improvement, especially on the north side of that building where it's just a flat wall. So what you see, what you see over here, this is actually this wall. So this is the north side of the building. So it's going to change tremendously. So I just want to share that with you, something pretty interesting that's happening downtown. And the owner's local, so it's also a great thing. So Jay's Foodery, Eatery. Anyways, that's all that I had for you.
What are the applications? What's the controversial?
The controversial application that's coming up is, it's on Medford Heights, just south of East Main. So it's a 12-unit apartment complex.
Okay. When did we, oh, I guess I saw that when it was at planning.
Yeah, there was a zone change that was pretty controversial.
Right.
And we have seen a couple signs posted in the neighborhood, so we're aware that there are going to be some participation in that process, just so you know. And I think that's all that I had for you, unless you have something for me.
Great. Any questions for Kelly? I guess we're
All right.
good.
Thank you so much.
I did,
Oh, sorry.
and I noticed
You
Hal
didn't
had,
wave at me, so I.
oh, sorry.
No.
I actually-
I should have taken the red light as a.
I actually had, well, one comment and one question. The comment was, I was curious how this square box became a historic building, and it had to go through that process. But then I read some of the stuff in the newspaper about its history, the food land, and some restaurant for quite a while as well. But anyway, I was curious about that. Did the economic opportunity analysis raise any issues with respect to industrial or commercial property needs?
I'm sure it does. It analyzes the amount of land that we need that's anticipated it's a 20-year plan. I'm not confident enough to be able to share the results of it, but yes, that is the purpose of the plan, is to analyze that information based on our anticipated needs. As far as your question of why in the world is this historic, it's an excellent question. It's in our downtown historic district. So the building itself is not a contributing structure. But it is in the district, so it's still important. It's part of the fabric.
And I would say that the changes are going to change that fabric quite a bit, so it's
It will.
excellent.
It's certainly visible from our corridor. It's also kind of kitty corner from the new Elements Hotel that's being constructed downtown.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Item number 90, messages and papers from the chair. I have none. Propositions and remarks from the commission. Anyone?
One
Commissioner
very
Whitlock.
quickly, again, excellent job on the minutes, staff. Great read, very accurate, and appreciate the time and effort that goes into those.
Great. Agreed. Anyone else? All right. Item number 110 is adjournment, and we will be adjourned.